All right, truth seekers. This is Tuesday, one day after yesterday. And if you was here yesterday, that was Monday. And we're going to talk about one of the biggest conspiracies that I would think, alleged conspiracies, I should say, of all times. And you have to be born at a certain time to remember this one. So we're going to do two things. We're going to probably refresh the memory of a lot of people. And then for you young folks out there, we're going to give you a new one that you can put into your belt and you can research and you can probably say, wow, I wish I was older today, whatever. I don't know. But we're going to talk about the moon, not the moon, but NASA's, the spaceship Challenger. If you remember back in the day, everybody was watching, us kids, everything. They had everybody out with this shuttle thing because that was the very first school teacher who was aboard this particular spaceship launch or whatever and was going to teach from space. So everybody was pretty interested in it, if I got that part right. And do I have that part right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And so what happened, it didn't happen. And so I'm going to show you a video today. I'm going to show you a few things that we're going to be talking about. But this is probably one of the greatest things of all time because 30 years later, which is today almost, by the way, or a little when, or well, probably some years besides that, I don't know. But now people are saying they're still alive, and they're saying that they're still walking around, some of them using the same names, look like each other. And now we got to know, why was it a cover up in the first place? So we're going to get to that. We're going to get deep into this information today. And I'm so excited that that's conspiracy time. Let's roll.
Objects in the sky. We don't know exactly what they are.
Of landing a man on the moon. And
Have you heard, have anyone been murdered?
I have to be careful asking that question.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Your eyes is useless when your mind is blind.
All right, so real quickly, and I'm going to give you some names. I got some photographs for you. I'll put some photographs on the screen for you, and it should bring a memory. But here are a few people that was young at this point. So we have Francis, Michael, Judith, Ronald, Ellison, Gregory, and Krista. These are the people that was on the spaceship Challenger way back when it supposed to, just explode when it was taken off. I actually have the video of the launch that happened back in the 80s. I'm going to show that to you right now. And it's about 2 minutes and you'll see how everybody's reacting. But I'm going to show you the first 45 seconds. That's all you need to know. And then we'll get into the storyline that we're going to get into. So let me play that right off the bat so we can get right into it. Check out the beginning of this launch.
It was a bitter cold but sparkling clear morning at Cape Canaveral. Here at the last seconds of the countdown.
3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
All the communications between the shuttle and mission control indicated everything was going fine. There was a sense of relief that the much-delayed flight was finally underway.
Engines at 65%, 3 engines running normally, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good APUs. Engines throttling up, 3 engines now at 104%.
Challenger, go with throttle up.
Challenger, go with throttle up.
It happened just over 1 minute into flight.
1 minute, 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
All right, so at this point, it exploded. Everybody is now visiting another realm, okay, at this point, all right? And the nation went into this huge emotional frenzy. The world, everybody was like, all of these things, and it was just pretty much, don't worry about it, they're good. So it was a whole deal when you think about it. I call it problem, reaction, solution when you start thinking about all these things that would happen. But again, I was a young kid. We, long time ago. And the whole point was that this thing exploded in front of everybody. Now, it did send NASA into this total reform of how they're going to build these things and whatever they're going to do. And you got to remember, problem, reaction, solution is they create the problems, then we react to it, and they come back with a solution. Now, why would they do this to 6 people or 7 people and whatever if it was not a mistake. Well, according to them, it was a mistake. We all settled with that mistake. Everyone went on with their lives over the years and years, and they became memorialized. Everybody said, okay, the teacher, she got her school's name after her. The other ones got what they was going to do. Probably families got paid a mint of money. And the world went on until the internet hit. See, back then, the internet was kind of new. You had to have a web address to find anything. It wasn't a research tool that it has become today. It was just, you have a website, people know your website, they can find you. It was what we call the information highway, for those of you who are used to it now as the daily use of your life. But back then, it was new. Everybody, again, didn't have all these access. And so maybe they did not predict the future to know that all of a sudden the internet connected everybody together. It connected conspiracy, it connected photograph, it connected research, it connected photo analyzation, photo recognition, and the list goes on and on and on. It has evolved. It has a life to its own. And out of curiosity, somebody decided to go back and do a little homework on that. And then the frenzy started. We start finding out that these people could be still alive. So what I'm going to show you is some before and after photos. I'm going to give you a background on each one of them, and I will debunk a few things too, because maybe it's our job as truth seekers to seek a few truth. But I'm also going to add my little flavor in that maybe what we did find, somebody could have made up too, because we have AI. We have all these kind of technologies today. But there is one of the dumbest questions out there that we will talk about later in the show. And I can say it now because it's stupid, right? But I'm going to hold that for you because I want you to get a little interested in what we got to say. So let's get down to business and run it into the conspiracy, alleged conspiracy that these people are still alive. And I'm going to start with number one. Let me find my timeline here. Well, let me give you a timeline first. So in 1985, so if you were not born, then I'm not talking to you. All right. But I'm giving you information. There was an official crew release, and they were saying something about whatever. So they released Christopher or whatever selected as the first teacher in space. Mac Ali or whatever her name is. You can Google that. NASA heavily promoted this mission because it was supposed to be the thing about it. And remember, they made the selection 3 years in advance. Okay. In January 27, 1986, engineers expressed concerns about cold weather O-rings. This was something that they was talking about. Then the launch discontinues and all that kind of stuff stopped. In 1986, in January the 28th, now this is a day before. Now you would think in today's society, if they had any kind of issues, they're not putting something up in the sky because they're just not going to do it, right? We seen a moon thing with the Artemis. They build this $1 billion thing, send it back, take 6 days to send it down there. They send it back. They send it back because maybe it was missing a screw. Maybe it was something. But here's the deal. This is where it's going to get interesting. So they did launch this thing in 1986. 73 seconds into that, this thing explodes. Okay. The people are unalive. They are smithereens. They're gone. Okay. Dust to dust, ashes to ashes, whatever the story might be, it was gone. All right. Everything. Now, again, little kids was watching. Supposedly her classroom was watching. They had a live feed inside the classroom. So now, if it was fake, why would you terrorize all these little kids for the rest of their life that their school teacher got blew up in a spaceship? Maybe they didn't want any more NASA astronauts. Who in a kid will want to be an astronaut after seeing their teacher get blown up, being the first teacher? I don't know. Maybe somebody in there, because they know the future. Maybe one of those kids in there could have been the next president of the United States, and they wanted to alter the timeline by terrorizing the mind of this kid. I'm throwing it out there. Y'all know how we roll. So either way, it broke apart. Millions watched this online. I'm talking millions of people watched this spaceship. And once again, for those who just jumped in here, I'm going to play the 43 seconds of it again so you can see what I'm talking about, bring you up to speed, and then we will continue on with the story. So one more time, look at the first 45 seconds of this video you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's roll it.
It was a bitter cold but sparkling clear morning at Cape Canaveral. Here, the last seconds of the countdown.
3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
All the communications between the shuttle and mission control indicated everything was going fine. There was a sense of relief that the much-delayed flight was finally underway.
Engines at 65%, 3 engines running normally, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good APUs. Engines throttling up, 3 engines now at 104%.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
It happened just over 1 minute into flight.
1 minute, 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
From mission control, silence. Then the bland, chilling report.
We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded. Flight director confirms that. We are looking at checking with the recovery forces to see what can be done at this point.
Slow motion. A search effort couldn't begin for some 15 minutes after this.
All right, so 1986. I was 16 years old, in my little freshman prime, probably in school or whatever. And again, this was all over the news. But again, it was elementary kids in every school that they had wired to this launch because it was an elementary school teacher that was going to teach a class from space. So you imagine the awe when all of this happened. So I see a lot of you in the chat saying, hey, you were whatever, you saw it, you remember it, you remember the parachute. Yeah, people thought they was in it. That wasn't it. That was whatever, the little flight box or whatever, they trying to save something. I don't know what that was, but it wasn't nobody in that bad boy. You better believe that one 100%. All right, so now in 1986 to 1987, the Rogers Commission investigate. And if you know who they is, they were also connected to the Condom Commission, who investigated the UFO stuff back in the day. And what they came back, remember, and said that they shouldn't tell humans about, or civilization about, aliens. This is why all of this stuff started. So go look up the Condom report, and you will find on page 247 their result of saying that, hey, don't tell the public about aliens. And that's where all this mess started. Okay, so same organization, different name. In the 1990s to the 2000s, early internet forums began discussing some of the old coincidences. Now, coincidence, if you know, I've said it before, you've been around me on a personal note, I believe coincidence is God's way of being anonymous. Okay, plain and simple. So there is no coincidences, is what I'm saying. And then around 2014 to 2015, viral images collages appear online claiming the astronauts was found alive. And then if you start going in today, 2026 to whatever, the theory reasserts on social media, YouTube, all of this stuff, and public meetings. Why? Because some people start finding these people and they would interview these people. And then on a few occasions, one of them end up just running away. One will say, oh, yes, me, it's not me. But here's the challenge in this. I'm going to go through each one of these people. So make sure you stick around. I'm going to also show you a photo of each one of them when they were, whatever, getting on an astronaut or in their astronaut suits. And then what they supposedly be today, that people actually took shots of these people in real life, what they're doing. So I got a little background, did a little research on each one of them, just a little bit for you. And then at the same time, I do have a few side-by-side comparisons. Now, I would admit, before we go down this rabbit hole, there are a few of them that we were able to go back and say, oh, here's a photo of them when they was a kid, and maybe they look alike because they're brothers and sisters or cousins or whatever. I'm a little suspect about that because the photos didn't appear until later on down the road. The existence of this stuff never existed. But for the life of me, I'm going to say this before we get down into it. Why would they keep the same names? Or here's my other question for you to ponder on. Are we dealing with the Mandela effect? Are we dealing with how Fruit of the Balloons. Everybody remember this and this, that. Could it be real that we're dealing with the Mandela effect? All right, cool. I got your text. So you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Are we dealing with it? So get ready, man, because I'm excited. I feel very good from yesterday. Yesterday, I was like Orphan Annie. Y'all seen the movie? Yesterday was playing awful. You can say that again. You know what I'm saying? But today I feel great, better. Oh my God, yesterday was awful. I was struggling for y'all yesterday, whether you knew it or not, but I pulled through because that's what I do. I'm a servant leader. So, all right, the team is wired up today. So you heard TK just laughing. You hear Devin breathing because I see it in the chat, saying like tall, but it's a short breathe. It's not a tall breathe. I'm going to get a camera pretty soon because y'all missed yesterday. If you could have saw what I saw yesterday, you wouldn't have to go pay for a ticket to see Michael. You wouldn't have to. We'll get on that, right, TK? You wired up, though. Okay,
wired up.
Y'all wired up. All right, so let's get down into today's story. And by the way, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we 5 for 5. Brother Yosef, Dreamwise, and his wife, Desiree, will be here. We're going to be talking about the relationships that's going to tie into our relationship seminar on the 8th. And we're going to be talking about being a stepdad or stepmom and all that good stuff. If you want to date somebody with kids, what's the precautions of that? Is it a good situation? Whether you're a woman dating a man with kids, we're talking about younger kids that are sitting around, and not the old ones that are moved out. We're talking kids that are right there. Is the baby daddy cool? Is the baby mama cool? That's part of relationships for the conscious people. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So hopefully y'all are ready to be doing it. Rod, this has been done many, many years ago. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Whoever Greenlee is, block him out, get him around for our channel because I'm old news to him. We got you, buddy. See you. All right. So what we're going to do is keep it moving. So let's go. The first person is Judith. We're going to go with Judith here. Okay. Not Judith, my friend Judith. We're going to do this. Let's go. Judith is a Yale professor. And let me put it on here so y'all can kind of see and go there and pretty much. All right. I got a picture of Judith. Okay. So here's a picture of Judith. Good looking lady here. Back in 1980 something. That already tell you the hair design right there, right? I mean, we chill with that. Our hair design, is that in the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So the hair design in the 80s, and pretty much. So let me do this real quickly so that y'all see Judith. And in other words, she is a Yale law professor named Judith Resnick, is actually an astronaut, okay? And the conspiracy argument is same name, similar facial structure, similar age. Now, let's go with this. I'm going to put up another photo for you of where she is right now. So this is what she supposedly be looking like, okay? She went from here to here, okay? Here to here. All right, so we're going to go back with that. So now I'm going to give you a couple of counterplanes right here. There's always some counterpoints. I'm sorry. Now, what they said was that she has the same name. All right, so that's unique enough. Today, Judith Resnick, who same amount of years old as what she was back then, is living, walking the earth, and look alike. Okay, and here's now they're saying that the law professor's academic history. So I did some checks. Predates the Challenger's explosion and follows a documented legal career path different from the astronaut's engineering NASA career. Now, we can all say, okay, Roderick, that's enough evidence. And for the truth seekers, BS, okay? Because unless we all got our doppelgangers, and we all should have somebody that looks like you and not you or whatever it is. This is never heard of that your doppelganger is walking around with the name Roderick Martin, okay? The same thing, being in two places. Now, I've seen plenty of movies. Aaliyah was in a movie with whatever the dude was when he had a bunch of doubles or something, wasn't it, or something. Multiplicity and another movie. Michael Keaton was in that one. I don't know, whatever. I don't know if that was the one Aaliyah was in. But the whole point is we're all supposed to have this double. So as we continue down this, and we're going to have our final conclusions in a few minutes, where the coincidence is, are we looking at two highly accomplished women who happen to share relative common name, looks, and features? So I'm going to give you an opportunity. You want to go in there. So I'm going to put something on the screen. So let's bring it a little closer home for you. Those are two pictures of, these are future astronauts. So I just want you to know, Judah's at the bottom. All right. Let me get another better photo up there. Those are the other two. So we'll get back to them. But Judith is at the bottom and at the top right. Okay. So she's on all four of those photos. Are we looking at the same person? There's one in the chat if we are, two if we're not, three, maybe. So let's go with that. Let's do a poll right now among all of us. So I want to see what you think. Honestly, I won't be surprised because we're going to confirm. Okay, we're getting some ones. We're getting some ones. Let's go with it. Let's go. You know, yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, so let's keep going. All right, so we're going to go this. And all right, so we got ones, threes, and everything else. All right, so let's kind of see what we got here. Let me take the picture off. So don't get me wrong. We know AI exists today. That's fine. We know that, you know, and if you were going to impersonate someone's name and everything else, then we do that. So that's Judah. That's just one person. So maybe we can go with, this is just a cool possibility that, I don't know, she doesn't look like this, or she doesn't look like whatever. So we're going to go with that for a moment as I move us down the next path here. So let me go with the next conspiracy, which is Michael J. Smith. Let's go with Michael J. Smith, okay? Michael J. Smith, if we're going to look at him, is a University of Wisconsin professor named Michael J. Smith, right? He was the pilot, okay, on this. Let me see if I got a picture of Michael, if I did one by himself or anything else. Let me see. Is this Michael? All right. So this is Michael and then the Michael professor. Come on, give me a break. This is Michael, the one on the shuttle. And then this is 30 years later, the one that teaches. I mean, are we looking at, let me give you a clear photo. This is the shuttle pilot, okay? And this is the instructor today. Okay. All right. So what are we looking at? What are we thinking when we see this particular photo? Same name, by the way. These people got the same name. That's the most interesting part of this. So the conspiracy argument, again, is the same name and they look alike. You can vote on that one right now. Or just the same people. Now, don't get me wrong. No one has dug up a younger photo of the university person and go back and show you when they were young. None of this has surfaced, by the way, except in one case. I'll show you that in a few minutes, and we can go with that. But at the end of the day, records also show that the professor and the astronaut followed different educational paths, and of course, decades before the Challenger's launch. So that gives the other people to say, well, he existed. But again, no one has surfaced a lot of kid photos, except for one or two. I think we'll get to that pretty much. But what do you think? Is it the same or is it not? You know, and I'll put this back on the screen. Let's vote 1, 2, and 3. And you let me know what you guys think. And then we're going to get into a couple of more conversations. So here's a photo of Michael J., the pilot, and Michael J., you know, later on. And again, they haven't showed Michael J. Smith on the other side, the professor, and that's one right there, and that's one right there, okay? A full color for you. And if you want to go look at it more deeper, those are it. So we have this guy, these two people, same name, look alike a little bit, just age now. We're talking age and it's nothing but a number. So are we dealing with that? All right, so y'all seeing show photos again. If y'all want in particular photos, let me know who it is, because now I'm just showing photos. So what do y'all think first? And before we even go any further, why would they even be doing this? Why would the elites or anyone think that we're going to do something totally different? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. See, had they changed their names and they look like those people, the conspiracy is bigger, right? What do y'all think over there?
Two things.
Okay, first of all, can y'all hear Devin? Go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Can y'all hear him okay? Put him in the chat if y'all can hear Devin. Let me know. But go ahead, talk now, regardless.
All right, the first thing, as far as the professor goes, Michael, they did a comparison when he was an astronaut and when he was older. There's a birthmark or a scar on the left side of his mouth. Matches perfectly.
The scar.
The scar.
Okay, so if we think about that one, then we know that that is possible. You got any thoughts over there, or you still?
No, I agree.
Or you still charmed from the weekend?
I agree.
Because y'all should have seen the photos and videos she showed me yesterday. She had a weekend. The girl had a weekend. I mean, like, weekend, okay? I'm telling you. All the way back to school. All right, so the photos, again, is showing. So here's the deal. Had they changed this person's name, and then the researchers and all these people who found all of this stuff that I'm talking to you about, then it would be a bigger conspiracy right off the bat, because you would have been saying, well, the name has changed, so now you're looking at, oh, that's the same person, they changed the name. But by leaving it the same creates the curiosity or the mindset and philosophy of no. Because remember, I've always told a lot of you, if you've been around and watching the show, it's not the most complex things that you have to be looking at in life. This is why most people miss this stuff. They're looking for the most complex equations. It's the most simplest thing that get by you. It's the things that you don't see, that gets by you, right? And those are things that happens because people are not paying attention to the most simplest things, okay? And so I'm saying to you, that's what happened in this case. We're going to continue because I got more photos to show you as we go down and to the next person. But the other part of this is saying that if there was a cover-up, why would someone keep the same name? And I'm going to keep bringing it up. Why don't y'all answer that? Let's get into that. Why would somebody keep the same name if it was a cover-up? Why would they do it? I gave you my thoughts, but
I mean, I feel like, anything that they do is deceptive. It eventually has to come to light. So what sense would it make to change the name if they knew they had to snitch on themselves?
Well, who snitching? The pilots? They're not snitching on
I mean, not the pilots themselves, but I mean, just the way everything is going as far as the big dogs above them. Like, why even put them through the program? That's just how I feel.
Well, I mean, what about money? Let's do the money trail. If you were going to pay some people off and the government want to keep the money going to their families in their name of, why wouldn't keep their name so they have access to the money? Because otherwise they would have to make paper trails up, banking accounts up, false ID, and they're still looking like each other. And back then, plastic surgery wasn't probably as popular as it is today. You get what I'm saying? They didn't pull a Michael Jackson that they did. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm just thinking. What would y'all think in the chat? What do you think? Why would they keep the same name? Let's get some inquiry about this. If you're watching right now, if you were putting together this conspiracy, why would you keep the same name? Let's see what y'all think. I know some of you are private eye people out there and are conspiracy theorists and tinfoil hats. But today there is no more conspiracies. Y'all know that everything we talk about is true now. So let's go with that. We allegedly knew this would explode with the O-rings. Okay. Maybe that's what it was. If you're gonna have a bill, you need increase the budget. You got to have an explosion, because you got to remember this. I don't think a lot of people can see it this way, but you really want to know why we have war. We know it's about money, but why do we go into these other places and destroy them? Well, the real reason is not the destruction. It is to rebuild, is where the money is. So when they go in there and lever Gaza Strip to pittance, then they can come back with new constructions and new hotels and new lakes and new whatever. And because one thing they're not making anymore is land, but construction continues. There is no more new land, by the way. You're not just going to go find some new land. Oh, there's some new land, unless you make it like Dubai. But you get what I'm saying? So the destruction of old land, and And that's been the equation of time. Earth has been reset millions of times. I mean, 3 or 4 or 5 times, civilization, right? So it is the new build is what it is. So if they wanted a new budget, you got to destroy the old stuff, you know. Someone says black budget destruction. Yeah. All right. So let's move on. Let's keep going because I got many more to show you, and we'll keep going down the story there. We're going to talk about Dick Scobie. Now, Richard Scobie later is a business executive, but they're saying he's actually the Challenger commander, Dick Scobie. Now, I did find some couple of photos there. Same argument, though. Similar face, similar name. But the other part of this, they're saying that the businessman had documented business career, with Scobie was simultaneously working at NASA. Now, like, let me point out, no one, except for one of these occasions, and the occasion was Captain Obvious, and why I'm going to show you these photos of a young version of this person. It was real obvious at this point, right? And it's what they could work with, all right? But at the end of the day, this person, the businessman, no one has went back and say, all right, so say about to say that. So, okay, yeah. So they went back and they also, somebody pointed out, yeah, no cemeteries, no new cemeteries and all that stuff. Yeah. So they went back to point out that the businessman that I'm getting ready to show you, no one went back to show his high school photos. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. No one is showing none of these people. They're showing the other people's high school stuff. So you can go back and create a past, right? That's probably easier to do. And they thought this through. And if they're going to do a PSYOPs, why not practice here? So let me see if I find Mr. Scobie's pictures, and we can kind of see where we at with him. Okay, so, I didn't add his photo. So what I'm going to do is add a current stuff of them, though. Let's go with here. Scobie is at the right top, okay? So that's him 30 or 40 years ago, same nose, same little forehead, same little distance between the eyes arcing to the right a little bit, same chin. Look at the little lump on the chin to the right. You know, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Yeah, same, got his hair trying to wear it the same way, just missing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do y'all think over there?
That's them.
Yeah, I'm looking at the eyes, and the slope on the left eye to our right is exactly the same. Nose, hairline, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? What are your thoughts?
I feel the same.
Yeah, she's not exactly identical. Figure like y'all can see that, right? I'm gonna do what TK does. What do you think?
I had already said it once.
Well, I'm giving them your movement because they can't see it, but you know all right. So I was kind of give y'all TK's movement because she think y'all can see her. So when I asked her what does she think, she's like, just letting y'all know. So all right, so let's look in the chat though, so we can go deeper into this. And then at the end of all this, we're going to go into conspiracy mode, okay? We're going to go into the BS mode of it all. So be prepared for that because I can't go no further without you knowing that this is real deal. And having to say that, I am preparing some shea butter, baby, for y'all in a minute. I'm going to demonstrate some shea butter for you in a little bit, you know, and just let you know that there's also body what wash shampoo, not shampoo, but soap. There's soap. There's I don't know if it would it be shea butter soap or just soap.
Just soap.
It's just soap. Okay, so we're gonna go soap, but we're shea buttering today. I just want y'all. I'm in a good shea butter mood anyway, so I just want y'all to know. All right, so let's continue because I can't wait to get to the end, so I can just go unleashed on y'all with my thoughts on this BS and what they're doing out here to us. All right, so we're gonna go to Ronald. Now, Ronald is a little different story. This is a brother, and black don't crack. Okay, so little old, maybe young, whatever, and he had a brother. Okay, so they leaned into that and said, you know, they wasn't twins though, but boy, they mom and father genes were very powerful to look alike. Okay. But I do know there's some sisters out there. In fact, I was looking at Marla. Marla's dream is in our thing. She sent me a picture a couple of days ago of her mom, her sister, her brother. And that family genes is like real. They all look alike. You know they family. They weren't twins, though. They didn't look like where you can get away with this BS. So let's go in here and show you what I'm talking about. So this is over to the right is this guy. So we have Robert over there, the brother over there to the right. That's his brother. Now they're saying that's his brother. That's the whole story. It's my brother. It's me. And that's the story that we are having. And then if you kind of go back and look here, there they are there. So is there any resemblance there?
A lot of resemblance.
All right.
Regardless if they were brothers or not, I mean, it's still a lot of resemblance from the forehead to the smile to the nose, earlobe.
Okay. What do y'all think in the audience? Let's get a poll. We're talking about Ronald McNair, the brother on the side, you know, and don't be misunderstood. Just place a fur on the top of that bald head there. Okay. Let's go with that. Let's take a image of thinking of him having hair. Okay. Somebody said the guy on the right has gap in his teeth. Let's go back. Let me see what we can go with the photo there. Oh yeah. They came apart. They came apart. I don't know. I'm with you on that. But a lot can happen depending on what he was doing with them teeth. You know, I got one missing, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, he could have had 3 teeth back then in the middle. I don't know. But a lot can happen along the way. I'm just letting you know. So, but here's what I did find on social media that someone else posted. So let's see what we say about this. This particular photo so happens to be the brothers born at 10 months. Supposedly, now, again, they found the photos. Now, it is possible that this could be the same thing and could be the only truth of the matter because they didn't want to be dumb enough to fake the name, and because the brother probably wasn't going with the program. At that time, it was a lot of militant black people back then that wasn't going with the program. You ain't gonna fake it out and say my brother is that and have the same name. But no one else has no childhood photos.
So true.
So, and if you want them if you start thinking about it back then, they weren't too fond in treating everybody right. So maybe they like, we ain't paying the brother nothing. I don't, you get what I'm saying? I'm just speculating here. Because there was a lot of movement back then. And there was a lot of people on top that wasn't going with the program. So you're like, nah, he's dead. He dead. He's real dead. You know what I'm saying? We got to make somebody dead for real. Because they needed a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. If this was a ritual, they needed a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And they chose one. That's just me. That's me talking, allegedly saying they needed a sacrifice. And if they was going to have a sacrifice, they chose one. And I will believe that that could be his brother. Okay. In truth. And because he's the only one that has a different name. Everybody else kept the same name. So that's a possibility. Right. And they probably thought that one through. So TK is doing this. I just want y'all to know because they're talking with their hands. They mic'd up. They just don't realize it. But she says, true. Just like true that. What is that? Yeah, true. And Devin says, so they're in the show. I'm just letting y'all know. So, all right. So that's really random. Pics from childhood. I'm with you on that because the whole thing that they claims there is that on Ronald McNair, let me go back to him too, is his brother has publicly discussed his brother's death. So like I said, you can go with that, with the brotherhood of saying, oh, that's my brother, he's gone. And so we're going to do that. Let's go with Ellison. Now, Ellison Ozukia survived and later appeared publicly. That's what they're claiming. They saying this guy, Ellison, appeared later. Most examples involve family members being present as Ellison himself rather than an independent evidence. This is crazy. All right. And the most interesting part of this is that they survived. This is a whole different ball game when you come to that. So let me show you a couple of more pictures. And he said Ellison who? So let me bring him up on here. Ellison would be I think he's the Chinese dude on the right. Yeah. So he'll be the Chinese dude. Oh no, the dude up in the middle with the face. So let's go back. That's his Somi, and yeah. So Alan Simpson is the Chinese dude. So there you go. All right. So at this point, they're just saying that he's here. Period. He's here. So what did that look like with y'all? Let's go with that. What do y'all think?
Most definitely him.
I think it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all think it's him?
Mm-hmm.
The mouth, the eyes. I keep going back to the ears and the forehead.
Big old ears. You can't make them reptilian ears up. Well, he ain't reptilian, but big ear. Well, he could be because they don't put, you know, all the reptilians got like massive ears. If y'all ever seen. So what do y'all think in the chat? What's y'all thought? Do they? Okay, someone said same people. Number one, if it's same. Number two, no, and number three, maybe. Let's go with that. 1, 2, and 3. 1 is a yeah. 2 is a maybe. And then we'll just kind of go. Well, 3 will be. 2 will be just no. 3 will be a maybe. So we'll go. So they're looking the same. All right. So now let's get into talking about this stuff. I'm ready to kind of take you down the rabbit hole that I'm thinking. The question will be, why do so many people think they survive? I'm going to play a little different advocacy of this. Why do you think so many people think they're alive? Because again, we got the Mandela effect. We have, all of this has been happening quite some time. We have doppelgangers. We have different timelines. I was just studying something yesterday, and it said these timelines are running simultaneously. And of course, if you go back to some of the mapping, there were 8 years behind in all of this stuff. So, now we've seen the movie The Matrix. The Matrix had glitches of people looking alike. We've seen a lot of movies that, whatever his name in not Sean, but the brothers. One of them played in where the alien little black boy was in it. His feet changed at the end. He discovered this race of aliens in Mexico, and they all were sharing the same different faces all over the world. Somebody would look like this person, and they wasn't making a new face. And so at this point, we're talking about a holographic world too. We're understanding that we're in some type of holographic world, every day. So our whole thing is a little different. Could there have been a glitch in the system? Could it be just, again, two people being in the same space at the same time? So all of these things are possible. And if there is another Roderick Martin lookalike out there, maybe we didn't eat the same foods. He might be a little thinner or something, and that may be a good person, something your way out. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm saying there could be glitches of everything else. And so I'm just thinking, but this also add to the other parts. Why would the government do this? What's the purpose? Now, were there different CIA mandates back then where they unaliving people? Because today they don't care. They just take your ass out here. They just eliminate you. Were there different type of mandates that we just need to not WITSAC, whatever, because you would think about it, these people had to be gone for a long time to resurface. That's the only thing I can think of, because otherwise we will go back and find photos and different things of these instructors in 1987, 88, 89, 2001, because they're getting older. But all of a sudden for them to just come back out in a certain year time, I don't know. I don't know if insurance or different things pays different. I don't know if you put together a certain amount of money in some trust fund for it under the name that it gestates at certain period, 30 years later, y'all come back and claim, whatever the deal is enough for us to begin to think about why would they do that? And if they have done that, it is probably in our best interest to begin to search for a lot of names of things that have happened. And I think people have done that before. And there's one influencer, he's always on the internet, I forget the guy's name, but he always do these photo comparisons. And this dude finds some interesting stuff. I mean, he finds he'll do his little thing and scan and say, look just like this. Look. And we're talking people that look like people, or people that could be vampires and all this. Now, this is not their case. We're talking the most national cover-up of all time, if that's the case, besides the moon, besides all this stuff. So the question is, why would they do that? Somebody said with 1,000 credit score. Yeah. All right. So the question I got a question here. Let me go with that. We're going to do a little more Q&A today. So we'll do that too. I heard Roderick say TK was wondering why you guys don't get videos sent that we might spark a conversation. Where should we send them to do all this research while I work? All right, so here's what's getting ready to happen. Our truthversusauthority.org, I think I just need to turn it back on or something. I don't know, could be. But I am working on a Proton email. It's on my scale here, a tip email with Proton. And then I would suggest that you guys, when you send information, use it so we can have an encrypted email transmission if you're going to send something of importance. Another rule I want you to know is do not put the subject matter in the subject matter that you're sending. Just say hello or something, because a lot of these new systems are scanning the subject matter. So if you say UFO video, blah, 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 and they're looking for that, they will track down that email, okay? And I think Tusco and Proton, one of those two, we can do encrypted emails. By tomorrow's show, I will have the email on the screen for you, St. John or Shay, to send videos and different things. There is a secure system that we've been looking at, costs thousands of dollars. As we get bigger, you know, we will do that where you can upload secure things. We have to get a server on our side. But with the new things that are going to be coming out next year, my Mona Lisa products, not products, but projects, by the way, then we're going to have a secure server and everything else. So tomorrow I will, you know, do those things. Someone says, be relocated, live quietly, max banking account, right? Who wouldn't go for that? You know, if I can go live like Roderick Martin somewhere else, you know, and then y'all see another Roderick Martin, like, they ain't him, because I done lost like 100 pounds or so, and you'd be like, damn, that ain't him, but it looks just like me with the same personality, maybe all of that stuff. It's worth questioning, you know, once we get down to that. My strongest points that I will make before we go into more of a Q&A section. And before we do that, let me go into me talking about the shea butter. Okay. I want you to see this. I'm going to put it on my hands here. Oh, look at that. That is shea butter. And this is touche or Ashe? Touche.
Ashe.
This is touche.
You making up stuff? Okay.
Oh, the creator made their own terms, by the way. Read that.
Oh, that's called touche?
It's called what?
Oh, okay. I thought you was being funny because you know you stay with the jokes.
They thought I was meant. No, this is the creator. In fact, I verified it last night, and she said it was wordplay, but it's still shea butter. Soft. This stuff is soft, creamy. Boy, you can eat me. I'm telling you. Shit. Yeah, you can bite me. Shoot, y'all can eat me. I am so fucking edible with this shea butter. I'm telling you, yeah, I ain't tough. I'm moist and meaty. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's some shea butter. But anyway, it comes from Make It So. I just want y'all to know. Y'all got to get some of this stuff. Y'all been hearing me talk about this for probably about a week or two, and y'all need to buy it. In fact, I need some of y'all to go on that website. Let me put it on here. Buy it. Send me that you bought it, and we're gonna do some testimonies, because I'm telling you, this shea butter is some good stuff. And I'm trying to find my little banner stuff so I can give y'all the web address. There we go, right there. MakeItSown.com. Y'all go get you some of this shea butter. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. If you're rusty, you know what I'm saying? If you get a little rusty because, you know, your reptilian skin is on the grind that day, try some shea butter. I'm telling you. And it smells really good. I'm telling you, you can eat me. Look, y'all can eat me. They can eat me. I am so fucking edible right now. I'm telling you, I'm tasty right now. I'm telling you, you can eat me. Yeah. Shea butter, makeitsown.com. Make sure you get you some. And you can do that. So I know, there we go. So let me put this to the side. Make sure y'all buy it, and then come back and tell me that you bought it, because it has some great intentions put in this from all of it. But I want you to go to the website and read it. Let's get into the strongest arguments that I think that we should be discussing. And that is, how do multiple alleged astronauts look alike with the same name? This is before we go into Q&A. That one right there, like I've been discussing all evening, that is one of the challenge points. But it makes sense to keep the same name if you're going to do a psyop, because again, if they were still walking around here with different names but look alike, the whole world will be into this conspiracy. How many people will sit back and say, "Nah, it can't be true," because they would have the same name? That don't make sense, and walk away from it because it's too simple. The other part is that the central mystery is driving what I would consider the conspiracy theory, what I've just been discussing. So that kind of changes things up a little bit and everything else. The maker said these work well with relationships. I guess they would. You don't have to fake it. You can turn around and say, "This was it." Maybe y'all get that later. You know how people fake it these days. So spray that right there and say, "Oh, good job." Whatever. I don't know. All right, so let's go into a little Q&A. And somebody said, "I wish I can afford it." Do you know how much this costs already? You can't afford this. And literally, I want you to understand that that's the wrong terminology. Just say pork belly is at an all-time low today. You know what I'm saying? Not that's all, that's a forever thing for you. Wish I can afford it is going to tell the cosmos exactly that. It doesn't know to do or give or take away. It's just not going to make it happen for you. So let's just, at this point, but I will tell you, go look at how much these things cost before you make that decision, and you'll be surprised that you can't smell good tomorrow. All right, so let's do it. I'm disabled, living off crumbs. I'm with you. I tell you what, email us at contact@whythebigsecret.com. All right, Martin, make sure you tell me who he is. Provide a telephone number, because we want to do that. Then we're gonna on the show. We're gonna send you some shea butter. Y'all want to do that? Okay. So the team is going to come together, and we're gonna send you some shea butter. All right. So you heard me. You heard me right now. Go to the email, contact@whythebigsecret.com. Send me your name, telephone number, username, because I want to verify so nobody else is taking your gift. Because all somebody got to do is say that you. All right. Then we're going to get you some shea butter out. Okay. So let's do it. All right. That's what we're going to do. All right. So at this point, let's go with someone says, so I personally think, this is Monkey, think it's so much easier to keep the same names, like you said, because it's easier for people just behind, to be blindsided. Everyone. Yeah, it makes so much sense, right? You're on point with that. You're on total point that will probably be the scenario that I am saying. I would probably go with the same thing that you're talking about, 100%. And so we're going to do it. Thank you, Damon. Everyone says prop to the team. Make sure, again, now, Martin, we're going to call you out if you don't send me an email, because I'm petty. All right. So don't be saying what you can't have, and we're going to make sure you get it because you deserve it. And this is how we roll. So please make sure you execute your end, because that's who we are. All right. So at this point, we'll make what they say on the movie Young Guns, we're going to make you famous. He said, which email? So I'm going to put it up on the screen. Let me find one right now for you. And it should be contact@whythebigsecret.com. Maybe y'all put that in the chat for him too while I'm looking. All right, here we go. I got it. All right, so let me take that one down so it can be seen. All right, so if you look across the screen, it'll say contact@whythebigsecret.com. It's scrolling across the screen, okay? Use that email, but when TK puts it in the chat, I'll post it up on the screen. Then it'll be bigger.
Which one to put in the chat?
Contact@whythebigsecret.com. All right, so yeah. Oh, you got it. He says he's got it. Okay, cool. Okay. So make sure you send us the information, and then we're going to gift you some of this, okay? So we're going to do this. Just watching Young Gun Love Ball. Yeah, good movie. All right, so we're going to go into a little Q&A. We talked about that yesterday. If there's any questions or anything that you want to know, we can do that for the next 15 and 20 minutes. And then, like I say, I'm going to be back on Forbidden Knowledge tonight. I'll be kind of talking about this in a little more detail. After that, I usually look up and think of something else that I did say here. So I'll be on Forbidden Knowledge tonight at 8 p.m. live, probably looking the same way. In fact, you can probably get on there and say it's a conspiracy that I'm wearing the same clothes, same look that I did at 5 o'clock. Is it the same person? Let's go there. Put a Q in the chat. If you got a question for TK, you can put in there Q TK, and then she can answer it. And you might want to know the knowledge there. If you got a question for Devin over here, you can put that in Devin. Did y'all hear that? I heard it. Was it gas?
That was me moving in this leather.
Sure?
Yeah.
It was that wasn't. There was something else.
No.
Did you hear that too?
I heard it.
You heard it. Okay. So if you got a question for Devin, it hadn't hit here, so it's no aftermath like an explosion yet. But so we're gonna leave it where she
Let
said
me take
it.
my vest off.
Yeah, but she get comfortable now. So it's gonna come off under the shirt now. Yeah. So anyway, if you got a question for Devin, you can put a D, and then he'll kind of answer it. Now, Devin kind of like to go. What kind of stuff you like to go deep about?
It doesn't matter, but I will say this in regards to what we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you hear breaking news or anything like this, always follow the money trail, follow the paper trail.
Okay.
And just like this Challenger in '86, COVID, releasing all these files,
mm-hmm.
the government, they want you to look this way while they're doing something on with the other hand.
Okay.
What they're doing, they're changing the laws, they're taking our rights away or something like that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little research in '86, find out what laws they changed or what freedoms they took away from us during that time.
Gotcha. All right. All right. So, all right. So if y'all don't have any questions, we'll be getting out here at the top of the hour. But if y'all do, we can extend it and go from there. I know a few of you asked questions yesterday. I saw a lot of questions that was coming through after we were in our countdown phase at the end, so I couldn't stop it to come back and intervene. And maybe next time I can screenshot those questions and then bring them up into the show from yesterday, and pretty much. And so I'm asking correctly. My brain is not being correct. So I don't know what you're at. So, oh, here we go. So let's go here. So it appears that someone already been in space. I hope I'm correct. I'm not for sure what you mean by that. Let's go back to the first question. So respectively, because I'm learning, does it make more sense to tell us that the astronauts to prepare in the future for now what we're seeing now, aliens? And I get what you're saying. No, because when they're going to do Project Bluebeam at the time states in it all was set back to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan made a statement back then and said, what if the world had to come together against other forces that are not here, but from an existential threat from space, which was actually when they announced stuff like that, they have to tell us, right? So, and we already know Ronald Reagan is one of the presidents. And so obviously he fell into the bloodline and obviously Freemasonry and all of this stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that it's being executed. The thing that we need to know as civilians, I'm gonna use that word, is they play a long game because they have figured out a way to come back in and being reincarnated and maybe drinking blood to stay young forever. They have mastering that time doesn't exist for them. And this is why they do what they do. And so when they want to put a 50-year plan in together, they have a way to come back in this thing and probably being reborn within the same culture, soul group, or whatever they're doing. And somehow they can come back and live into what they've already set in motion 50 years ago. And so when we hear plans and we're thinking it's going to happen next week, in 2 weeks, that's the difference. Now, here's what I want to give you all a warning. This is where you got to plan for your children. And most of our conspiracy people don't do that. There's a few people I know are doing a great job, but most people don't. So let me give you an example. When we know today that you can walk in a grocery store and get a seedless watermelon or seedless grapes, seedless whatever, and then you hear at the same time that Montecito is copywriting, not copywriting, but forming whatever they're doing on seeds where you can't have them. Farmers are being given chickens without the eggs now because they're growing them a certain way. If we're not preparing our children to have a seed bank, and if you think you want to leave them money, you think you want to leave them wealth, they're going to control that in digital currency. Our people have already given them that. Everybody who's investing in Bitcoin, all of that, we have given them the blueprint to control us in digital currency. We're telling everybody it's investment, but we're not telling our children and grandchildren that their grandparents, have put them in a control factor where they can just turn off their money. They can do smart cities. They can do whatever. Your money don't work over here. It works over there. But what they should be teaching them is how to grow their own foods and all that, because the food is where they're poisoning, allegedly. They're controlling all these things. And so what you should be doing, now, don't get me wrong, make the money and leave the wealth to them, because the money will help them. But I think, and what we're planning to do, and I've been saying it for 2 years, I've already done it, is buy seeds. Seeds last a long time, for years and years. If you can give your great grandkids a box of seeds in the new world that we're going, they can grow their own vegetables. They can grow their own. And you got to remember, when they grow seed vegetables, those vegetables create seeds to continue. That's nature. That's the world law. Then they can feed themselves. They can do things that can't be done. And it's very essential that people understand that. So I was just telling Brother Joseph 2 weeks ago that I was looking for land, and I can't tell them because they'll go dig the shit up because they work like that, right? But I'm thinking that it's important for us to buy our own land, and we're going to grow vegetables, and everybody who's part of our community is going to help grow it, and we just feed from it. It costs us no money. You just grow our own vegetables. Let's just start that. And I think it's essential that we should do that. So I don't know how I got into that from your question a little bit, but the whole point is they're doing it already. Let me just go back there. All right. So
and to add to that, Roderick,
to
add to that, let's just say that you want to plant watermelon, vegetables, whatever. The individual that's planting them, before they put the seeds in the ground, tell them to put it in their mouth, get their saliva on it, then plant it. And what that vegetable or whatever will do, it'll know exactly what your body chemistry is, your DNA, and whatever ails you, it'll come up with something to try to heal your body.
All right. Well, there you go. So y'all heard that. So let's do that. Someone said, let's start a trade system within the tribe. These are things that we should be doing: bartering, trading. And these are things I've been talking about for quite some time, when it gets to that. Someone says, can you talk about the moon? Just ask the question about the moon, then I'll be more specific. All I can tell you is sitting up there for now. But yeah, the whole point is, like he was saying, that you could micro or whatever and cultivate this seed for you. And now it's part of you, and it's going to be a healing process for you when it's grown. Meaning, I can't eat your vegetables, right? If it's made for you, then, but you're saying for somebody, for themselves, right?
For the individual, yeah.
So he's saying, that you do that. Someone said, Roderick, can you read my question? Let me go back. Hopefully it's got a Q on it, because I got to scroll back to find your question. So let me keep going. Question. All right. So, do you think we will have a shutdown, can't say that word out loud, but with alien blueprint? Yes, they're preparing for it now with the Hunters, Ebola, all of that stuff they're trying to bring back at some point. With the alien blueprint, we're not going to have a shutdown. It's going to be more mental warfare, because they got to hit people mentally for those things, and we can do that. So that's the idea of what we're talking about when it comes down to. I don't think they're going to shut down like they did, where you can't go to work, you can't make your money, you can't do all those things. But you basically will be able to, in a nutshell, you'll be able to probably, I don't know, it's going to be mental and we're going to do some research on that as a group. I think if we all come together next week sometime, and everybody start looking up things that they said in the past about Project Bluebeam, and then things that we're seeing today, I guarantee you we're going to match up that it's happening right in our faces. So that's a great question, but let's go from that. So if y'all got another question, let's put a Q in it, and then I'll kind of know what we're talking about. So at this point, y'all stay showing up and showing out this live. Yeah. Love it here. Yeah. Well, we doing what we do. All right. So the question is, Has the moon always been here over Earth? No. Back years ago, back in eons ago, we did not have a moon. Remember, we were in all of your archonic worlds, everything was darkness, and from darkness came light. So that was always in all historic times, the ancient times. It wasn't until the reptilian or the Draco star constellation or Draconians or whatever parked the moon here. So if you even go back biblically and you start looking at it, and this is where the term lunatic came from, because Luna at the nightfall at the time back in the day was the worst time for human civilization. When it got dark, we're talking complete dark, people was being eaten, everything was happening. It was the terror of terror, which is why you get all the folklores about darkness and all of these things, because at that time there was no light in the dark. Okay. And so when the moon came, which is always be here, and that's why when you think about it, you don't still see the sun at night. You can still see the moon during the day. You know, it's still just sitting up there. You know what I'm saying? It ain't dark. It's just there, right? And it's in the same placement and everything else. But they have always said that the moon was brought in. It's a satellite system. It controls the soul trap that we're in every day, the prison planet and all that. But the moon was brought here. And if you go back historically, just to kind of add to it, we were a water planet. This is why we start thinking about the reptilians and the dinosaurs and all that. So I guess we would be considered mammalian. Where are we? Right? Mammals, like? Okay, mammals. So
mammals.
Yeah, so mammals at the time, amphibian type stuff was here. That's why we had the dolphin people, lizard people, all of that. It wasn't until we got here, which again was the prize joy, that they ended up saying, okay, we need to change Earth to fit that. All right, let me see if there are any more questions before we get out of here. Okay, so there is another one saying, also, should we bless the ground with your intentions and always did this before I left my garden? Well, yeah, I would assume you would. I would assume, because you can speak to your trees, you could, speak to your plants and all these things to, once you do that. So I would think you did. And so that would be important. All right, so we're at the final minutes of our show, because obviously I couldn't keep a crowd here. They walking out on me, and I'm not funny. Just walk out, just boom, out the door. And so either which way, if there's any other questions that y'all have, we're going to do it. But tomorrow we're going to do the relationship stuff. I will be on Forbidden Knowledge tonight, like I said. So make sure y'all come at 8 o'clock. I'll kind of go back over some of this a little bit. I probably have done a little more research too, and we can kind of do that. Somebody said, so they planted it here because they needed eventually. Yeah, they brought the moon here for reasons. It's the monitoring station, it's hollow, it's all those things. This is one of the reasons we don't go there, and we keep talking about we're going, but we ain't going. And not that we hadn't gone a little bit and seen something, but whatever it was, we ain't going back. But had you been here yesterday, Michael Jackson moon walked in the door, you would have seen the moon in full effect. Yes.
Want me to elaborate on the moon a little bit?
I mean, you done said it now. I can't say no. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Devin's gonna share the thing y'all with the moon.
Go ahead and elaborate anyway. Anyway, we're gonna give you guys a homework assignment. Look up Mona Lisa on the moon. What that is, back in late 60s, early 70s, they went to the moon, U.S., and they found a 3-mile-long spaceship. Reconnaissance mission. They did their research, come to find out that there was a lady at the helm. They brought her back to Earth, and she was frozen. They said the ship was there over 10,000 years. But anyway, it was a black lady, looked like she's from Somalia or someplace like that. 6 fingers, had things up her nose, but she was the captain of the ship. If you guys want to know anything else about the moon, just let me know. I don't want to take too much time, but I know a little bit about the moon. But yes, the Australian outback, the elders, they say that they remember from folklore that it was tugged here from aliens, and that's where they got a lot of their ancient knowledge from, the aliens that tugged the moon here.
There you go. So y'all got some homework assignment. That was Devin. Appreciate y'all loving the shows and everything. I will see y'all at 8 o'clock on Forbidden Knowledge live. We'll go over this again, and want all of y'all come over there so y'all can be the smart audience and say stuff in advance. You already know what I'm going to say, and then we can just kind of go from there. Yeah, Project Blue Bling, Mona Lisa. Love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And remember, we're going to do a relationship thing tomorrow. Brother Yosef, Dreamwise, and his wife will be here. Not here, but we all will be live, and we'll be talking about stepdaddy, stepmama, stepkids, the whole thing on conscious relationships moving toward August the 8th. And I will see you. And then once again, if you had not already, go to Charming Malas and make sure y'all get your malas from my sister Judith, my friend. You know, just do this thing. There it is on the screen. Charming Malas. You got to get you one. And I've been harping it, telling you for protection. But if you get one specifically made for you with the intentions for you, it will be kind of for you, you know. And so go ahead and do that. And don't be one of those things. Anyway, love you guys. See y'all in the next one.
UFOs. UAPs. Unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs. A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Let's try.